Today I'm at Highbury Hall in Birmingham and we're just going to do some preparation work before our integrated weed management conference. There's a fair amount of weeds here to deal with, which is quite good. There's plenty to show you. Some of our equipment takes a few days to kill the weeds off. So we're here about 3 or 4 weeks in advance of the conference just to pre-treat some areas so we can show you what the machines have done. I'll take some videos as we go around while we're doing it and give you a bit of a flavour. This is the car park area, and as you can see, it's needs a little bit of a spruce up. So what we're going to do is we take the weed brush around the edge so that you can see what a nice clean edge would look like, and we're going to give it a little bit of a sweep as well. Here's what I mean with the edges. So you've got quite a bit of detritus and soil build up, and some of that has some weeds growing through, and this edge is particularly bad. You've got several inches overgrowing into the car parking area. So we're going to just remove all that and make it clean. Quite a lot of leaf fall, which is another thing you've got to look out for. We're just giving the area one last go over with the blower before we start in anger with the weed brushes and the sweepers. As you can see, it's cleared quite an area already, but this just helps tidy things up so you've not got as much material going into the collector boxes of the sweeper, because they can fill up quite fast when you've got this light material. So we've gone along this area with the blower, and now we're going to go along with the weed brush so that we get a nice tidy curb line. You can see this material just behind here, compared to where the curbstone is, it's encroaching on the car park quite a bit. So we're going to get rid of that with the weed brush and leave a nice smart line. This spot we've got a bit of find the edge, so we've just kicked out to find where it is, and then we're going to expose it properly with the UBS, and then we're just going to tidy up these couple of parking spaces with the Weedo. Now you can see the curb line. Look at that, much better. We'll just tidy up the inside with the Weedo because it's a little bit more manoeuvrable. So here we've got the battery Weedo, and we're just going to tidy up a couple of parking spaces that are looking pretty grotty. You might not be able to see very clearly on the video, but this Weedo is really blitzing that area. Once we've given that a nice little sweep, that parking space is going to be clean. We're just doing the last little finishing touches to this parking space, and then we'll sweep it off and it'll look good as new. Well, near enough. Now we're just sweeping up what we've loosened from the curb edge, so we'll leave a nice clean car park. We left Trevor just finishing off in the car park, and I've just come back to see how he's got on. It looks like all the curb lines have been exposed and the place is nice and clean. So hopefully, other than a bit of leaf fall, which I'm sure we'll get, and maybe the odd grass clipping, depending on how well we cut the grass. Here's the couple of spaces we were weed brushing earlier with the Weedo. So you can actually see where to park now. We can get 2 more of you in. So at Highbury Hall, we've got this nice gravel path that goes all the way around the lawn. And you've got 2 ends that are bookcased by a set of steps. And we're just going to do the area around the steps at the moment with the hot water machine on one end, and there's a duplicate over the other side which we're going to use the Ripper Green on. And then when we come to the demonstrations on the day, you'll be able to see what we've done 3 or 4 weeks in advance with both hot water and hot air, and you can compare the difference. Right, the machine's now good and hot, so we're going to start some weeding. So he's just at the top of the steps, and he's going to come down and do this area down here. There's just a few weeds at the edges of the path, and in the gravel there's a bit of moss. We've just taken a line just to the edge of this rhododendron bush, so hopefully you'll be able to see come the conference what that's going to look like. So now we're at the other end of the path, and we're just going to come onto it with the Ripper Green. Ed's going to give that a go. And we'll see in a few weeks' time what this side looks like. This area in particular is a bit of a lesser used spot in Highbury Hall, and we're going to give it a little bit of a tidy up. We've got, quite excitingly, we've got Complete Weed Control bringing their Weed It machine along, and we're going to try and show how once you've done a bit of weed brushing, it greatly reduces the density of the weed burden underneath their machine, and the same effect will happen for all our machines as well, so that when you come to weeding, it's going to use a lot less chemical if you are using their Weed It machine. So I'm quite excited to see this. So the plan here is we're just going to do this brick strip with the Zato, and it's going to electrocute the weeds under that strip, and when we come back we can have a look. So this is the second strip from the gate, and it goes all the way along to the shed over there, and we can see what the results of the electric weeding have been after a few weeks. The other test area we're going to do with the hot water is this nice little square right in the middle of this patio area. We're going to clean some of this later with the weed brush, but this will give you a nice defined area that will have been done. So we've done this little strip with the weed brush, and we can come back on the day and just see what that's like after 3 or 4 weeks. And hopefully the guys at Complete Weed Control will be able to test their machine running over this section we've done versus a section that's not been done, and see how much less chemical you would need to apply to treat that area that's been weed brushed. Goodbye Highbury Hall. See you in a few weeks.